Hello, and welcome to the Libri Labra book club. For the month of February, we read Akata Witch by Nnedi Okorafor. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. Normally, before we jump into spoilers, we'll talk a little bit about our initial thoughts, and then I'll kind of let you know when we are jumping into spoiler territory. Before we begin, though, just as a heads up, if you ever want to join us on the live discussion on camera, you can do that by becoming a patron on patreon.com/Libri Labra. And there's a few other perks that you might get, like priority responses on YouTube videos and a custom bookmark. You get to help us select the books that we're going to read in a rotation if you do become a book club VIP member. Today, I'm joined by my husband, John, aka BookTube Hubby, and book club VIP member, Tom. And so I think we can start with Tom. This was your nomination. So what made you nominate?
Yes, I had it. I can't remember what the other two were offhand, but they were all by African American writers, or in some cases African writers, actually. But I had happened to hear on the New Yorker Radio Hour podcast, Nnedi Okorafor talking about her books. So I figured,
okay.
well, that sounds interesting. So I thought I'd give it a shot, and here we are.
Did you know that it was part of a series?
Of course. That's one of the. Well, it's a fantasy series, so who the hell writes one single book except for Andy Weir anymore?
Okay.
I get it, but the author spends all this time building a world and such. Well, I'm going to use it. I get it, but sometimes anyway. Yes, I did. Yes,
okay.
To answer your question.
Initial thoughts, just like your vibe or like what you were getting for.
Well, it wasn't what I was expecting going into it, but it was all right. I didn't have any. It didn't disappoint me that much.
That much.
I'm just saying, like, I didn't go into it thinking it was something it wasn't. So.
Okay. It was different than I was expecting. I don't know why I was expecting. Well, I wasn't expecting the age of the kids.
That's probably what it was that got me too. Like, I was expecting like older, like a more, not a coming of age type thing.
And I think there were some things that I may not have picked up on everything that was in the book and the story and stuff that was going on, but for some reason I expected to have a harder time getting through it. Maybe I don't know why I thought that.
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to read. It was a pretty
it was
an
easy to read. Yeah. Tom, what were your initial thoughts?
Well, before I started reading it, or
like just after you finished it, just kind of like what it left you with feeling. Things you were expecting, weren't expecting. Without jumping into spoilers.
It was rather more structured than I expected it to be, given the source, and I'll explain that when we get to the spoilers.
Okay.
Say that.
Okay. So I think at this point we can go ahead and jump into spoilers. If you haven't read it, it's not that long, and it was pretty interesting. Yeah, and I plan on checking out some of the additional books in the series. So
we have them already, don't we?
I don't know if I have them.
I'm pretty sure there's like a list of Nnedi Okorafor books that are Audible right now.
Okay, well, go read it, come back, check out the rest of the discussion if you haven't read it. So
well, if it's any indication, I do already own the other two books in the trilogy. So,
did you own them before you recommended this? Like, did you own the whole series before you recommended it?
No.
Okay.
I own them because I saw them on sale on Amazon. And I figured if I was going to get one and I liked it, I mean, as well as for $2 I can take the plunge. And then I got a coupon for the last one, so that's why.
Okay. Tom, since this was your nomination, you can kind of lead the discussion. I don't know where you want to begin.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, it involves what I would consider. I've seen this compared to and if you ever read the Goodreads notes reviews, I can totally see how this would be the case. It's like, Harry Potter, but in Africa, essentially. It's essentially I had the same feeling reading this as the Goblet of Fire. That's the first Harry Potter book, right?
No.
It's like no? Okay.
No, that's like the fourth one.
Oh, whatever the first one is.
Sorcerer's Stone.
The Sorcerer's
Stone, yes.
The Philosopher's Stone. Depends on where
Okay,
you're from.
Philosopher's Stone. Okay. But it's basically like getting the band together story, as these introductory volumes typically are. We get to meet the characters and who's going to be central to the plot and how their world of magic works, essentially, and how they get instructed. And it's hard not to see the parallels between that and the initial Harry Potter books. And unfortunately, there's only a few ways you can tell this story and still make it interesting. And when I said about structured, it was like, okay, oh, you get a mentor. What's going to happen in the next 2 chapters? I bet I know. That one gets a mentor, and that one gets a mentor. And then, the last one is a mentor. But I blanked on her name now. The main character.
Sunny.
Sunny Nwazwe. She is, I think was she born in Africa? And
She
then
was
her parents
born in
moved to the
America.
United States. Oh, she was born in America? Okay.
Yeah.
And then her parents
were not
moved
born.
to Nigeria, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so not only is she straddling those two worlds, she's also straddling the being albino Negro, or Negress, I guess, which has, I understand, special properties, which they allude to in the book, in African, folklore. They're supposedly sources of magic somehow. So a lot of the book is about how, she interacts with this new culture that she's a part of now, but also how they interact with her and her special traits like her albinism and everything else. So that's kind of the setting, really. So, but eventually, one of the things I find infuriating about books like this is like, oh yeah, well, we have something to tell you, but we can't tell you right now. Well, why not? You're all here in the thing, but we could have saved like 50 pages, but now we have to, but
they weren't
again,
ready.
It's not a bad book, and I'm making it sound like it is, but it's not. So
there was something. There's a couple spots in the book that they do mention. It really is all about the timing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but
put that in.
they have their because the people who have magic are leopard people. People who don't are lambs. Where have we heard this before? And that's not what J.K. Rowling either. I can remember Piers Anthony having his Mundanes in his Land of Xanth series. So this is absolutely nothing new.
It sounds like a Percy Jackson thing too, and God and Demigod.
Yeah.
Do that whether or not it's just to have that in your bloodline.
Exactly. And that's what bothers me about the book is like it's not magic isn't a trained thing. It's more like who you are as a person. And that's mainly for the end of the book, which I'll reserve that for later. But it's like, oh, you inherited the bloodline, even though it can jump from person to person. Like her mother wasn't, but her grandmother was, apparently. So, but like I said, a lot of the book is just about how the quartet of them, Sunny, Horlu, Chi-Chi, and Sasha interact. Sasha is also from America. Mm-hmm. And one of the interesting things I thought was how they how part of their training was, and it was the Americans that got offended at this, was showing how not specials they were. It's like Jungle doesn't give a damn about you when they're trying to get to his home, their original mentor's home, and the Americans are, oh, how dare you? And it's like, and the Africans seem to take it in stride. So I thought, oh, that's interesting, So it is full of like two worlds, straddling two worlds sort of a thing, and what Sunny has to do to navigate both of them. So
right. I thought because I was trying to look up like what juju meant, because it feels like it means a lot, kind of. Mm-hmm. Like using amulets, but also magic, but also spells, but also like so hearing how they utilized it, I thought was really interesting, and the way the knife came into play. Mm-hmm. So, what did you think of that? Of the
I just had taken juju as magic. Like it's just that was their formula. So it's that was their like the Jedi's use the Force. So their world is juju.
Yeah, but it's like it just feels like more than just magic though, because like if you look up the definition, like it's
Mojo.
just got like a bunch of different elements to it.
It's like an aura somebody might have.
I guess when I think of just the word magic, it just to me it feels like this ethereal thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and even though like I guess spells and potions can be magic, they feel a bit more isolated into their own categories, even though they're still I don't know.
What was the term I was just thinking of? More like a spiritual versus magical.
Maybe.
Well, in that sense, you're talking more along the lines of magic as opposed to alchemy. If you're going with potions, so it does seem different, but it is part of the same tree, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if there's some sort of physical manipulation in there that we can't explain,
right?
That sounds like magic to me.
Yeah, but it was interesting to see how they had to perform their magic. You know, to perform their magic, they had to have, you know, the movement component, like they had to know how to move the knife in a certain way. And they also had to know what words to speak. You know, and it was interesting to me that some practitioners had like this special talent that was easy for them, but the others could learn it, but it wouldn't become as easy to them.
Right.
You know, so. I forget which magic it was that happened because they were forever talking about, oh, I could do that too. Yeah, you just have to learn it. Ha ha ha! I can do it like that. Like Sunny's making himself invisible.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, that she actually did not. She would have messed up the original spell she tried, but because she had the innate ability, it worked. You know, it worked for her. But if it had messed up another way, she would have done something very bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because she didn't use the abbot, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's like if you ever play D&D or any games like it, they have the racial modifiers. Oh, elves get +1 magic. You know, dwarves get +1 constitution. Same idea. So, but what was I going to say? Also, too, you know, they have the notion of having a spirit face, and you know that's how Sunny originally runs afoul of of the rules because she shows her spirit face to a bully, you know, and she was called on the carpet for it, which you can tell, you know, that the person who's judging her is going to be your mentor eventually, even though they're saying they're not. It's just a question of time. But especially when she buys the book that, you know, who written by that supposed judge, you know, at the bookstore.
I think what was her name? Sweet Cream?
Sugar Cream.
Sugar Cream.
Yeah. So but that was also interesting too. Much like Hogwarts, they had this whole industry built around the college in the sense that, hey, you know, you'll come to college, we'll sell you the books, we'll send you the juju knife instead of the one, you know, yeah, there's a whole economy based on that, apparently. So, you know, go ahead.
So I did enjoy the chitin,
yeah, chitin.
The idea that you earn as you learn.
Mm-hmm. That must be awfully inconvenient, though.
Inconvenient? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you learn something, like all of a sudden, boom, you have this whole massive flood of chitin around you. Now I got to pick all this stuff up. Which happened, what was it? The soccer match, which I thought was a good way to illustrate that concept, where the losing team earned more chitin than the winning team, and they had a better time at it too. So, yeah, I did like that. And then, of course, in the back of my head, of course, there's the evil magician who would find a way to make chitin on their own, you know, and that sort of thing. So that's another plot point. Not that they did that, but, you know,
Wait for it.
Yeah.
But so it seemed like such a good thing. I was just like, oh,
Mhm.
they get, and it's like currency.
Yeah.
That they would get it from learning things. But I guess learning isn't always necessarily a positive thing. Like you can still learn for bad or learn
from negative experiences.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was the point of the soccer match. You can often learn a lot more from defeat rather than victory. So, which I liked.
But that would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
I like learning. It would be nice to just be able to make money like that.
Mm-hmm. But, and again, they have, the library and such, which has their enchanted books. And my version of that comes from Terry Pratchett with the library at Unseen University, where, the books are chained down and they have a life of their own, and, that sort of a thing. Same thing here. Again, there are certain things where when you tell a story like this, I think there's really like a formula that you can't really alter. It's just how you fill in those blanks, and she does it quite well, I have to say. So,
what did you think of like the group and each of the characters? I don't know if I was like I remember all of their names, but I don't know if I have a really clear picture of each of them, other than it was like 2 boys and 2 girls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. And that they kind of sort of broke off into couples at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like what were their. I know what Sunny could do. What were their individual?
So Orlu was a fixer. Like he was able to fix things or put
He's
things
anti-magic.
back.
Yeah, he reverses juju.
Yeah,
That's what he does.
He undoes
things.
Yes,
undoes. Yes,
that's what he was. He does undoes things. And Sasha, I don't really get a good grasp on Sasha.
His seemed to be with summoning masquerades, or was that Chi-Chi?
Chi-Chi was the one that was summoning.
Okay.
But her... do they even specify everybody's individual abilities? They specify their attributes and what and the things. I'm not sure if they actually got their abilities out of them. Now that I think about it,
I think they're somehow tied to the books that they bought. And I think remember Sunny bought the Nsabidi scripts because she's the only one who could read it, and I don't remember what it had in it. I'm sure that's later in the books in the series, but and one of them bought the Udide's summoning book. I think that was Sasha,
right.
But I'm not sure.
Yeah, because they apparently they did that. So he was the summoner.
So, but
yeah, because there was like a scene where
they explained
somebody
they
said
tried
something
it before.
about that they had tried summoning at somebody's house.
Oh yeah, that was when Sasha had summoned the masquerade. I think it was at Chi-Chi's place, wasn't it? Or Sunny's place, I can't remember which. So
okay, I think it was Chi-Chi saying something like, "Who do you think taught him?" or something along those lines.
But I think with Chi-Chi, she just has an incredible natural magic talent. So, and one of the things that surprised me, I was getting back to the structure part, was, oh no, you can't do that. That's level 4, or level 3 spell. It's like, I'm surprised at that. That I don't know. To me, and maybe this says something about me, that I expected that magic system to be much less structured. So, well, you didn't take that course yet. So, well, I can still cast a spell.
Maybe it just seems like that structure was put in place to keep people safe, but they said like you can do it early, but you have the consequence. There's terrible consequences.
Yes,
if things go
yes. The leeway for something going horribly wrong increases as you get lower in level. That's what I got out of it. You can try it, but it's much less likely that you'll succeed, and you're much more likely to get something horrible.
Right.
At the end. So, like Chi-Chi summoning the masquerade at the festival. Right. I could do that. Well, yeah, you can, but And I thought the masquerades were cool too, because they seem to be like creatures made of insects or leaves and
or bats,
right? Bats, yeah.
The swarming, yeah.
So that was
I like how she explains some of that stuff. Also it's just the little things, the little teachings here and there that they're like, oh my god, my grandmother said this, or my mom always taught me this. What was the one I heard that was, money is a tool, not a prize to be won. So everybody's always like, I gotta get money, money. Hold on to it.
Sake,
right. There's no reason to hold on to it. You're supposed to be using it for something. Yeah.
I tell my brother that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, money is not worth anything in and of itself. It's worth what you trade it for.
Right.
Yes. But also, they had, going back to the Juju knife for a second, they had the scene, of course, where the knife picks you. Okay, the wand picks you.
Yeah.
Same idea. So it's the one that you happen to be cut by. I have to think that's going to make a difference in later books, but I don't know. Like what type of new knife you have would be suited to whatever magic is.
Was Sunny's knife more expensive than everybody else's? Because they seem to make it
Yeah.
Yeah, they seem to make a big deal
she
out of that.
Like
so I'm
13 copper shim, and it's like, I was like, what?
at the beginning, like the very first little snippet of when they are like describing this green material that nobody knows what it is and how rare or valuable it is. I was like, well, this is a setup for the main character to get something of this material, and boom. I mean, it was just a little too obvious to me.
Yeah, and that's what I said.
Yeah,
so a lot of it's telegraphed, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it has to happen, but
right.
But also, one of the lessons I thought I liked was when they were going to I think it was Sugar Queen's house, and they had to be act nice toward, not nice, but at least polite to the bird, and ask them to take it up to the thing. It's like that was a good lesson to learn, So it wasn't all about magic, huh?
A lot of the world was in the details. I did like that. The fact that they just explained along the ways that you just dealt with a ghost of a bug that was killed maliciously, and those little things like that. I do enjoy those things. It's like reading the little lore amongst all the little Pokemon in the game when you play.
Well, they have that with God, what the hell was the book now? That they had excerpts in it, like after the initial chapters. I can't remember what its title was. For people who were not unclassified, I can't remember what the word they used, but Sunny was one of them. Unaffiliated or something like that.
Oh, free agent.
That's it.
Free agent. Thank you. Yeah, and it was like a handbook for free agents, and
Oh, that guy was nice, wasn't he?
Yeah. So. Like I said, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I forget his name now. Their teacher.
Starts with an A, right? Anatov?
Anatov, yes, very good.
What did you think of him and
I didn't actually spend much time breaking down Anatov's character, unfortunately. That's new. Well, thank you for asking that, because I didn't even realize I didn't do that. And Anatov would have been an interesting character. Yeah. Now I'm gonna have to read it again. But what the only thing I did like about it is this psychology that was written into the details too. There's certain things that goes along with each of the characters, and because of the choices they make, and or material items that they're shown or given.
Well, speaking of that, there seems to be a line in the book wherein, like a thread, in which Sasha and Chi-Chi seem to bristle at their limitations that they're given, and so am I correct in that? Because to me it sounds like, if this is a red flag for them to be turning into villains, I don't know what it is. It's like the necromancer. Well, why can't I study these dark arts? They're just as good as the other ones, and
yeah.
Which I get the point, but like I said, that's how we make villains. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right.
So
And
I hope that's explored further in the series. If it is, well done.
Well, I mean, in the book about being a free agent, it seemed like they were kind of setting something up in regards to being part of the world and observing, but not trying to really be in it. And like it sounded to me like it was trying to say, like almost like being a scythe. How like one of the requirements of being a scythe was that you didn't want to be a scythe,
right?
Because you didn't want that power. Like it sounded like it was kind of saying the same thing in the book.
We need to finish that third book just as well.
Yeah. Well, the thing now you have the difference between the pure bloods and the the free agents thing. But again, that was what I mean by the psychology of things is that they actually with that bloodline that okay, it can randomly happen over here, but you'll get extremely powerful people out of this bloodline. But then over here you get an entire list of they're all going to do it, but they're all going to have the magic ability, but they're not going to be. But that also has to do with watering down the bloodline with the lamb. That's what that was, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they want to be pure blood.
There were two lambs that were inserted into that bloodline.
Yeah, and that's what made Sunny inferior because it.
Yeah, right. But that's
jumped
not
a generation. Yeah, so. But I mean, it makes you see the point where, as an analog, Superman and Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is always on about, oh, we have to save the Earth from Superman. Or Superman and all his powers because that's who he is. He happens to be the Yellow Sun. Lex Luthor had to train himself. He had to be smart and everything else. He had to do a hell of a lot more work than Superman did. To stand toe to toe with him. So, in other words, cheers to the lambs in the book. In other words. But
it's I kind of feel for Sunny in regards to having to deal with her dad and her dad's perception of what it is that she was kind of doing. I feel like I don't know. I know I dealt with that growing up, that was like what I was told. Just because I was like being a teenager and staying out late, and there's just lots of assumptions made, and so that kind of sucks. It sounds like her grandmother dealt with all the same things, and it's just.
And what do you do in that situation when you can't tell anybody the truth? You just have to eat it, and that's what part of that letter was. Is you have to be the mature one and forgive them.
But also, too, Okorafor throughout the book, shows how male-dominated the society is over there. Not that it isn't here, but
right.
Her brothers could do whatever they want, essentially, where she has to be home by, and even on the soccer field. Well, you can't play because you're a girl. It's like, well, why not? Because girls have never played before. I said, well, why can't I play now? It's tradition. Well, maybe we could change the tradition. And it just goes to prove that she had to be like twice as good as any boy on the team to make the team.
Yep.
To change that stereotype. So I was like, well done, you. Are you looking at questions, Desirai, or?
No, 1 second.
Oh.
I was just
deleting
a comment. My cat is yowling.
Do you think to do something about that?
I don't even know who that is. That Shadow?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do about it? Okay.
Distract them.
He's gonna be in the video the whole time.
Yeah. Probably have like the most vocal cats ever.
Yes, podcast with cat accompaniment.
Yeah, so that's just like, I don't know, it's a tough situation. Just that kind of misogyny and whatever else. But I think it's still interesting that like her mom's generation was essentially skipped.
Right.
Like unless it ends up being revealed that like one of her aunts or something later on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
See, and that's one of my gripes about the book is that it's more about who you are than what you can do. you know, or what you can do is defined by who you are, not by training. So, and I'll wait for John to conclude that thought. But yeah, and it's a good book. I mean, I had the same feeling about this one that I felt when I finished the first Harry Potter. Oh, that was nice. It was a good, entertaining read. I liked some of the notions in it. You know,
I didn't know you read any of the Harry Potters, and I know.
Yeah, I read.
You must have read it like right after I asked you, or like
I listened to the first one with Jim Dale, who did a very good job. Although I love to hear Stephen Fry's version because he did the British version. So, and he's one of those comedians where the stuff he does on stage is absolutely ridiculous, but he's really, really, really smart when he's not on stage. So, but yeah, it's getting the band together and finding out what they can do and how they mesh together, and because it's not unusual for Orly to save them all by undoing the juju that was placed there. So yeah, I always think it's Deadpool too. Luck is not a superpower. It's like, well, based on the way they use it in film, yeah, it certainly is. So, but yeah, I enjoyed the book. So, especially having it not be in America or having it be in a non-Caucasian country or system, whatever. So, because I'm sure popular imagination, when we think of universities now, we think of Hogwarts style European university with the big buildings and the castles, and this is the African version of that, which was different. Same idea, but different. So,
I don't know if I should, because there was something that happened in the ending. I don't know if I want to jump to it yet, but I think you wanted to ask John something.
Well, I was talking about it's important that it seems more important to be who you are. What you can do depends on who you are rather than what you're training to do. And I think that comes out in the last combat. I don't know if we want to go there yet. Do we or not?
That's what I was gonna. That's actually what I was gonna bring up. So,
I guess we're good to move on. I mean, we're pretty close. We're good
because it seems to be Ikwenzu, the final boss, recognizes Sunny, and it seems to be like, oh, I know you, and you're like this ancient protector and such. It's like, well, I guess we didn't need all that training then, did we? Because it's like he's like, oh, and she bans her.
Oh, yeah. It was just like, oh, I know what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
That was. She said that too. As soon as she finished, it's like that was.
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, that was a little anticlimactic.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, it wasn't just me.
I can see where it could be done visually. Yeah. That in this entire book can be done as a TV series and be done well, and have a different, completely different reaction than what we came up with.
Yeah.
That final scene can actually be suspenseful, full of tension and everything. It's just how it's kind of laid out for us. It doesn't seem.
Yeah, it just seemed like all the danger happened to the other characters and not her. And it's like, well, then I'm not sure what we're learning here.
Right.
Yeah, who was it? Orly was almost taken out. So was Sasha. I can't remember what happened to Chi-Chi, but she just said, "Oh, I know what to do." Sunny just walks out. Go away. Okay, done.
Yeah.
Essentially.
I would also like to thank whoever made Ace Ventura in the past to tell me actually that's the only reason why I knew what Ikwensu was.
Oh, okay.
You remember the Ikwensu Ocha? They tell him White Devil. They yell at him. They call him that the whole time. It's funny. It's just I didn't know Ikwensu because just to that movie from back then. It's like I learned something so dumb.
You never know when you'll get your cultural references.
Oh my goodness.
So.
I mean, I can't help but feel that maybe it was like a false victory, for the moment.
Maybe.
Well, the other thing too is even before that, oh, you have to go and go to find Black Hat Otokoto. Oh, he's actually right over there at that gas station. We knew where he was all the time. And so they just walk over. And I don't know. It just seemed too pat to me. I would have preferred to have seen the book ending with them defeating Otokoto, and then them discovering the plan to bring Ikwensu in, but they don't actually succeed. But that's neither here nor there.
Well, him taking himself out to finish it, like that was like, if they're like, well, if you're going to kill me, I mean, that could have been dealt with after the fact, and like, oh, we did that, because I don't know. It's just that there's so many different pathways, and since you brought up the evil pathways of the blossoming students, like what if Sasha just saw everything just happen and he was like, dude, I want to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Because you get inklings of it throughout the book. It's like sprinkled throughout. Because they both Sasha and Chi-Chi seem to bristle at the restrictions that they're given. So, well, why can't we? We can do that. And, well, maybe, you can, but maybe you shouldn't. So, and again, this is not a bad book by any means. But it's just there were certain things that were saying.
Callbacks.
Yeah. So
it was just. Is you saying it was mainly just predictable?
It telegraphs itself, yeah. Okay. But again, by the same token, certain things have to happen in this sort of story,
right?
And I don't know how you can tell it without saying these things. So, in her defense,
we're just waiting for a TV show now.
Exactly. The CGI will make it all clear.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to see all this cool stuff happen.
Yeah. So. Yeah, but a lot of the juju seems to be ensnaring animals to your will, like with the lightning bugs with the light. It's like, oh well, what if you were a lightning bug and you got corralled into that job?
I thought about that too.
Yeah.
What if they actually care that you're doing these things?
Yeah. So. And in certain magic systems, when you use magic, it costs you something. Because power demands sacrifice, but that doesn't seem to be the case here.
Sugar Cream did say that actually, that if like teaching her how to step in and out of the spirit world, she'd have to die a little each time.
Right.
Yeah.
So that seems like a cost.
And
but what about the other guy's abilities? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, in this particular thing, I could see it because she's jumping between worlds, and going back to what we said earlier. Her power is not that she makes herself visible. She can actually move between the spirit world and the physical world.
Right.
So, and that you leave I use a little piece of your soul, I guess, every time you do that.
So, do we not know what Orlu has lost trying to turn back things? Like, are we not?
Yeah, it's not specified yet. That would be interesting, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if he starts aging super fast or something.
Yeah. So, but so far that doesn't seem to be a thing. Which is fine, it's just,
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, and I did like the way they, set up the rest of the other two books. It's like, well, now, the portal between the spirit world and the physical world is weakened because of what Otokoto did. So it's going to be easier for Ikwensu to come back. So, and I just hope it's not like a repeat. Oh, well, I have extra armor and extra this. And, somebody says, well, I still know you. Get out of here and, be done. I don't think that. No, that's not going to happen. I'm just saying.
Something bigger and badder is going to show up, and she's going to call Ikwensu to come kill it.
Yeah, and often that's what the books in these series do. It's like the first book is like, oh, we have to battle this person. They seem like the prime evil, but no, actually they're not. They were actually a lieutenant of this other person, and that'll be book 2. Yeah. Yeah, Satan. Yeah, but exactly. So, but so I like that was a little bit different. But I don't know. I wish if they had seen something reflecting of her training in that final battle, I would have been. Unless I missed it, I think I would have been more at ease with it. But it seemed like the training didn't really matter. It's just like, oh, well, who you are.
I think the training was just world building.
Yeah.
It's just telling us about other things that they might have to deal with later.
Mm-hmm. Now, see, what Orly was different. Orly, he expressed doubt with what he had to raise the kids, and reverse the juju. The two boys that Otokoto killed. And that was much more interesting to me. Because again, I don't know how the magic system works, because if you're working with that high of a level spell, well, it could backfire, and you're the one that's taken. The kids live, but he died. That sort of thing. So,
right.
I also like how she explains actually visualizing the healing process.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Do you think you could visualize that kind of thing happening? Like, I feel like I could. I have an idea. Like I feel like I would be all, yeah, I could do that. Done.
Yeah. That reminds me of, I won't go into it because I don't want to spoil the Green Lantern animated series, but one of my favorite scenes in that whole series revolves around something like that.
Okay, the Green Lantern. Okay.
Green
Lantern. Where do I watch this?
What?
Where do I watch this Green Lantern animated series?
I found it on Amazon. I bought the series on Amazon, but
okay.
But there's a point where they have to make something. So, well, can you visualize it? It's like, no. Can you?
I like it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's the same thing. It's like, how well do you know the things that you're going to create, sort of a thing. So, but
did you happen to see what the second book synopsis was?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
I can bring it up though. Let's see. Yeah, Sunny as of this point is 12 years old. So, if that means anything.
We're still in the young adult category.
Yes.
That's what that means.
I mean, would it play the same if it was like a 50-year-old woman who was going through this? No, I'm serious. Would it be different?
I mean, if I figured out at 40 that I had any sort of things, no.
See?
Not at all. That's actually kind of how I feel right now.
Akata warrior. Oh yeah, that's what she finds out, that she's actually a warrior.
Right.
And Chi-Chi is like a nobility in that Nim line. Okay, apparently the second book takes place a year after. Sunny Nwazwe, an American-born Nigerian girl, was inducted into the secret leopard society. As she began to develop her magical powers, Sunny learned that she had been chosen to lead a dangerous mission to avert an apocalypse brought about by the terrifying masquerade, Ekwenzu. Now, stronger, feistier, and a bit older, Sunny is studying with her mentor, Sugar Cream, and struggling to unlock the secrets in her strange Insabidi book. Eventually, Sunny knows she must confront her destiny. With the support of her Leopard Society friends, Orlu, Chi-Chi, and Sasha, and of her spirit face, Anyanwu, she'll travel through worlds both visible and invisible to the mysterious town of Osisi, where she will fight a climactic battle to save humanity. See, the world always needs saving. So,
I mean, it's true. It still needs saving.
Mm-hmm.
It needs saving right now.
Absolutely, it does.
I was like reading along, but I also listened to the audiobook, and I thought the audiobook narrator did a really good job.
Yes, she did. It also helps when they're actually speaking in these like Igbo and tongues, and to hear the actual language as it's supposed to be spoken was really good. So, actually, I just read Trevor Noah's memoir, Born a Crime.
We've started it recently too.
Yeah.
We're currently reading
and speaking of real life, straddling two worlds, that's what the book is about. I really liked it. It was a very, very good book. So
I think we're only on like chapter 5 or 6 or something, but we've been listening to that.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, the audiobook, you have to have it because, well, I don't want to say why, but there's a really, really good part, and it's like later in the book. But to hear him read it is so much funnier than if you read it on your own. So,
I don't know if I have anything more to add, or if you want to do.
I think I'm okay.
Final thoughts.
I'll give it a 4 stars.
Unless Tom has another.
Not really. It's a promising start, I think. Yeah, like I said, I am inclined to, continue with the series. And I gave it the exact rating I gave the first Harry Potter book, which was 3 stars. I liked it; it was good, but I'm interested in learning more. So,
I think you said 4 stars.
I'm gonna go with 4. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it, and I don't think I would give anything a reread unless I gave it a 4 or 5 stars. So.
I didn't like this book the first time, but let's see how much I don't like it this time. But then again, there is a certain logic to that, because maybe that wasn't the book at the time for you.
Right,
read it. Like, oh, yeah, there you go.
I get it. It happens.
I think I would also give it 4 stars.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm definitely interested in reading the next one. I don't think we have the next one, though.
Maybe we have a mishmash of a bunch of her books. I don't know.
Book 2 of this series, book 3 of another series. Yeah, I just get them when I find them on sale.
So, all right. So 4, 4, and 3 is what we give it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the Russian judge on this panel. Olympic reference, not any.
We'll take a step back. You're the Simon Cowell, right? Is that we're going here? Or make it a little safer.
I don't know how much different that is, but
so
it's the same picture. No, I'm kidding.
Next month we are going to be reading the Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green.
I started it. That's good.
I started it too, but I'm gonna restart it so that we can. Yeah.
Are we gonna listen to it together?
I don't care. We can.
I thought that's why you stopped listening to it.
Okay. Yes. That is agreed. Yes. That
honestly, it's 300 pages, and I've been listening like 10 pages a day. So it's like every day I could. It's like 2 entries, and it's perfect.
Yeah. It's nice. I like it. That Dr. Pepper one.
Yes. It's like random shit I think about. Here's a book on it.
Right.
I saw this out my window. Here's an essay.
Yeah. Right. But they're good.
Yes, and that's what being an established writer is all about, because you can do stuff like that, apparently. So
I wasn't sure, like, when he first announced that, he had written this. I wasn't, because it was nonfiction, I wasn't sure that I was interested in it. But then he made a video where he was talking about like the cover being designed and like the different colors and what it was supposed to represent. And I was just so fascinated by like the art direction that went into creating the cover that was when I pre-ordered the book.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just interested in the human experience. I mean, everything is experienced differently. It's for everybody.
And I feel like we need more of that right now anyway, which I'm sure is why he wrote the book.
So, at any rate.
All right. Well, I think that's a wrap. Once again, we are reading The Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green next month, which is wait.
We're in March now.
We'll be discussing it in April.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, but we're reading it for March.
Right.
Right.
We're reading it now in the month of March.
Yes. Okay.
Well done.
So if you're not already subscribed, be sure to subscribe so you'll get a notification when we do have that discussion. Anyway, thank you for joining us. Once again, if you ever want to join us on screen during our discussions and kind of join the rotation of the books that we select to discuss, you can do that by becoming a book club VIP member on patreon.com/Libri Labra. So if you've made it this far, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.